Reason number 3 why we get injured is limited range of motion. All right. Now, limited range of motion also connects to the two elements above this. If we have low levels of strength, then our brain is going to compensate by having muscles support our joints that are not designed for that purpose. And a good example of this is somebody who has really, really chronically tight hamstrings. It's not because your hamstrings just magically are tight. It's because your hamstrings are probably supporting and stabilizing your pelvis as opposed to your core supporting and stabilizing your pelvis. So what happens is the hamstrings, a much smaller and less active muscle group, end up being overactive or chronically overactive and end up in a state of chronic contraction or chronic squeeze and shortness. And then they become tired and fatigued, and then they get tight and hold you in that position. And the reason for this is a survival mechanism for the brain as a result of the brain, which is the brain is worried that if you did something that you needed to stabilize your pelvis and your spine, and you don't have the requisite strength in order to do that, that you'd get hurt. So it tightens you up in other areas so that you cannot perform certain activities and therefore cannot get hurt by just not being able to do them. Now, the irony of this is that we end up getting hurt in much worse ways as a result of this, but it solves the short-term issue of getting hurt from small menial tasks or frequently getting hurt, and ends up where most people get catastrophically hurt, but less frequently. So this is what the real result of limited range of motion. Now, here's the thing that is important with limited range of motion. We actually don't want to stretch in order to add range of motion to tight muscle groups, because that works counter to the reason that they're tight. The reason they're tight is because they're compensating for other muscles that are supposed to support and stabilize joints. So if we stretch a chronically tight muscle, what we're actually doing is we're lengthening and trying to relax a muscle that is performing the vital safety function of stabilizing a joint. And when we stretch it, we actually increase our risk of injury by a tremendous margin. So what we actually want to do to solve this issue is we want to strengthen the muscle groups that are supposed to stabilize the joints, and then our other muscle groups that are chronically tight will relax. And we see this happen in the gym every day, and it's another reason why we want to focus on adding strength rather than just stretching for stretching's sake.